Hello guys, welcome to NameTech channel. My name is Nehemiah and I'm very much happy to have you on board once again. And so guys, this is the second part of this project where we are designing a very perfect e-commerce website from scratch. And guys, this is the homepage that in the previous video we designed the homepage, and this is the homepage with the beautiful header here, and also you have the carousel section here, and then you have the featured products, and also you have the latest products, and also we have the items on offer, and then we have the call to action button section here, and then we have the footer. And so guys, today we want to create these other pages too. We want to create the products page, the about page, and then account page, the contact page, and also the account page. So let's preview the account page. And guys, you can see it's very responsive, professional. You have the login and then the register form where you can put your your username, like let me say Nehemiah, and then I have the password section. You can type your password, and then you click on remember, or you don't click, and then you log in. And then for register the same way, but now we have added an email here. Then you agree with terms and conditions, then you click on register. So basically this is the account page, and then you have the conductors page. So now in this conductors page, guys, you can see you have the, on your left you have the the call last and 4 times 7, and then you have the number there. You have the raters, you have the the email address, and then you have the main office located at Nairobi. And then on your right you can see, guys, you have the form, the Google map here. So basically in this video I'm going to show you how to create this Google map, and then also we have this form here. So you can basically fill your name, your details here. You can select your country, and then I do it. This is not a placeholder. This is just a text. You can delete it and type your own words. Like let me say NameTech. NameTech is awesome. You can visit them at nametech.com. And by the way, guys, in this website we are offering a lot of programming languages. We have the courses on CSS, HTML, JavaScript, Python, also the C++. We have Kotlin there. We have the PHP. We have all courses are available there with certification. Guys, you can visit us, and then you're going to access them for free. Remember, for free. And so guys, but for now, guys, this is when you click on the submit, guys, it will not take you anywhere, because this is just a front end. I've not teach you guys at the back end, so I cannot handle the back end yet. I've not teach you. So we have also the about us page. So basically this is just what name shop is all about, and then these are the same carousel, and then these are same form like in the contacts page. But remember, guys, you can style your, for the sake of video I could not make it more beautiful, but just to give you the draft how you can design your own website. And then now, guys, you have the products page here, and then in the products page, guys, you can see that and so guys, in the products page you can see the featured products here. You can view any item like the headphones, smartwatch, and whichever item pleases you, then you add to cart. And then also we have these other items you can add to cart, and then you buy it. And also, but guys, this website is also responsive on smaller devices. So let me right click and then open the smaller devices so that you can see. So guys, basically this is the smartphone now. Basically, assuming that this is a smartphone, you can see, guys, it's very responsive on smaller devices. Also, you have a single column here for these products here, and very responsive. This is just the products page. Let's view the home page. When you click on it and then you go to the home, guys, you can see it's also responsive on the home page, and you can view. You have the carousel here, very responsive, going to another item after every after every 30 seconds. And then I have these items here. And so guys, I did the website that we are going to design, me and you, just step by step from scratch. Remember, there's nothing that I will skip. I'll make you understand each and everything that I've used to study this website to make it functional. And so guys, if it's your first time now to get started to this project, I'm going to link the video for the previous the previous part of this video in the description. You can always find it there. And so guys, we are going to design this website, me and you, step by step. And if it's your first time guys to learn to this channel, please support me by subscribing and also like the video. Just take 2 or 3 seconds and then I click that subscribe button. And then to the subscribers, you can also click on the like button. And if you need the source code for this website, or if you have any doubt, let me know in the comment section. So guys, I really appreciate very much. So without much ado, let's get started. And so straight away, let's open our text editor. I'm using the Visual Studio Code. And so once you have your text editor, then you are going to open your files. So just go to files, then I open the folder, then I choose the folder that you used in the previous project, and then I open, then I click on this this explorer icon here. And then now we want to create several files here: the about page, the contact page, the account page, and other pages too. And then we are going to link to these navigation links here. So the first one is products page, about, contact, and account. So let me do this. Let me say products dot html, and then we click enter. And then we have about dot html, and then we have the account, not really account, before account is contacts dot html, and then also we have the other one for account. So account dot html, and then you click enter. So back to your home page. Remember, we use the index.html as our home page. You can give it even homepage.html, but I always like using the index.html. And guys, it's always wise to use the hash so that when someone click on your link, it does not bring the 404 error, 404 error. So you just use the hash if you don't have the valid URL. But now that we have created these other pages, we want to link them here. So this is the home. I say home, we used an index, so just say index.html, and then this products, I'm going to use products.html, and then these are about, I'm going to use about.html, and then this is what contact, I'm using contact.html, and then account, I use account.html. Also there's this button here for explore now here, where this explore now, I'm going to link to the products page. So I'm going to say products.html. Also down here in the call to action, where is it? These are call to action already. I'm linking it to what? To account, actually to products, products.html, and then you save. So let's open our browser first of all, that you may know if we have linked. And so let's go open our browser, and then this is the home page. Remember, we use index.html. This is the home page that we designed the previous tutorial, in the previous video. And then I have the latest products, these other pages, these other stuffs here. And so I want to show you that we have linked those other pages too. And remember, we haven't written anything in those pages, so it will just be blank, very white. So let me click on it, and guys, you can see it's very blank. It's blank like that. because you haven't written any code there. But you can see here the tab, and also here the link. You can see it is products.html. Let's just confirm all other pages too. This is about. You can see it's blank, but here we have about.html, and then we have what? We have the contact. It is blank, but here we have the contacts.html, and then now account, it is account.html. So it's true that we have linked these other pages, but we haven't written any code on it. We haven't created anything on it. So guys, I want us to begin with the account page, because it's somehow complicated a bit. It's not complicated, but it might take some time. So let's begin with the account, then I shall go to these other pages too. So let's go to our text editor, and then now guys, I want to use the same CSS. I want to use the same HTML stuffs here. So for header, I'm just going to copy to this part. Let me copy the header, and I guess you see the importance of giving your work, comments. You can easily tell that your header ends here, the carousel begins here, and other stuffs go in this section. So it's always nice to give your work comments. You give comments so that you can find your codes easily. So this is the header. Let me just paste it there, and then now for footer, let me just copy the footer and the JavaScript there. So this is the footer. Let me copy from this part, and then to this other end. Then let me copy, and then to the about. Let me just paste it there. First of all, let's see if it's working on our browser. Let me save, and then to the browser, let me just click on it, and then this is the home page. Let me load. Let us try to see if we have linked the account page. So when you click on it, guys, you can see we have the header and also the footer here. But remember, I have just used the same header, the same footer, but we want to style it further. So back to our text editor. To prove that it is account page, you can see here it is account. So it's just to resemble the home page, but it lacks other features here. So what I'm going to do here I'm going to do what? I'm going to do what here? So I'm going to remove this section here. I'm going to remove this section here. Here I'm going to remove this section here, and then now, and so guys, what I'm going to do first of all, let me create a class here. So a class, let me give it a form. Let me give it dot form. So this is the main class. Dot form. So this is the main class, and then now I'm going to say, for example, a form box. Dot form box. This is the second class here, the subclass, and then I'm going to do what? I'm going to create here also another button box. I'll create a button, so let me use the button box. Button box. And then let me click enter. And so guys, let's style first of all this what? Let's first of all style these tags. So let me go to my CSS. Here's my CSS, and then now let me first of all clear this part. And so guys, I want to create here what? I want to create here the CSS for that page. So let me just create a comment. You see the significance of creating comments. You can easily find your stuff very easily. So let me create a comment here, control plus the / to create comments, and then I'm going to say what? let me say CSS for account page, CSS for account page, and then I'm going to say what I'm going to let me begin with the form box. Let me copy the style, the class, actually the class, sorry. So the class is it is form box. So let me just copy a form box, and then to my CSS I'm going to say remember we use dot because div is our common denominator, but now we use dot not to distinguish classes. So now in this form box, open and close the curly braces, and then I'm going to say to give it a width of now that registration box here, I'm going to give it a width of 400 pixels. Again, you can give it any, and then I'm going to give it a height of let me give it 500 pixels. Don't forget to add units. Don't forget to add units. And then I'm going to give it position, give it relative, position relative, and also you can give it a margin of 6 pixels, and then this is top and bottom, and then left and right, let it be auto, I don't know. And then I'm going to give it what a background of which color is good. Let me give it any like which color, the background for it. Let me give it I don't know, let me give it plywood, which I change it to not be awesome. Then let me add a padding of 5 pixels, and then let me save. Then let me go to my browser and see, let it refresh. So guys, you can see it is the form. Let me change the the lightness, to make it a bit lighter. So let me do this. Let me do what? Let me just make it at least lighter color, and then I'll save. And perhaps let me add a radius, so border radius, so that it may not have sharp corners, such sharp edges, corners actually. Border radius, I'm going to give it 10 pixels, and then let me save. And so guys, I think this a bit good, a bit awesome for me. So now this the box that we are going to create the login in the registration form here. And so now back to this text editor, we want to do what? We want to style the button box. So create another class. So it was that button box, right? Let me just confirm. Yeah, button box. Let me just copy the class. Remember, if you don't in the select, if you don't use the one that matches with the class, it will not have any effect to your browser. You will just be wasting time. So but the class is the button box, and then I'm going to give it the width of what? The width of 220 pixels. And then also I'm going to give it a margin of the margin of what? That 5 pixel, that 5 pixel, that 5 pixel, that is top and bottom, and then outer what? Left and right, outer, this is left and right. And then I'm going to give it position, let it be relative, position relative, and then I'm going to give a box shadow, I'm going to give it what? 0 top, 0 right, and then 20 pixel, that is bottom, and then I'm going to give it 9 pixel, that is on your left pixel, 9 pixel, and then color, Color, let me give it what? Let me give it even red. A red. Or whichever color. Let me yeah, let it be the way it is. And then now let me add the border radius for it. So border radius, let it be what? 30 pixel. And then you always ensure that you save. So now what I'm going to do now, first of all, let me check. Remember, I haven't written anything, but now you can see on your end, actually you can see it at a far distance. We have the something here in the background, but we haven't written those are buttons. But now the color I see it will bring me blunders. So let me just change, then I'll see. So now back to the account. So now this is the button box. And then now this button box, I'm going to create also the now the what? I'm going to create the and so now I'm going to create the button in themselves. So I'm going to say button that button themselves. I don't know English. So let me say button, and then I'm going to say what? I'm going to give it login. Is it login this way? So I guess that's the way. And then in this first tag, I'm going to give it type. Type is gonna be button, and then now I'm going to give it a class. So the class is gonna be what? Class. Let me write class. A class, I'm going to give it toggle icon btn for button btn. And so now what I want to do, let me just duplicate this part. Just click on shift alt and then arrow key to duplicate, and then now here I'm going to change to be register. To be register. And then now yeah, let it be the way it is. First of all, let me see in the browser if it is there. So let it refresh. And so okay, so you can see we have it here, but now we want to style it further, so that it may be that pleasing. First of all, let me zoom out so that you can see, zoom in so that you can see very well. So let me just go to my my CSS now. Remember the class. Let me just copy the class, because I might type something else. Something else, yet the class is different. So now here let me write dot, and then this class, and then open and close the curly braces, curly bracket or curly braces, whichever name you wish. But now here I'm going to give it a padding of what? I'm going to give it padding of 10 pixel. That's top and bottom, then 30 pixel, that is left and right. Remember to use the units. You can use the rem, also the em, whichever units it pleases you. But for me, I always like using the pixel units. And then the cursor, I'm going to give it a cursor pointer, so that when you have on it, you can see that hand changes to a hand or a pointer. So, and the background, I'm going to give it transparent. So the background is transparent, and again I'm going to give it a border. So border, let it be just 0. So border is 0 pixel. Remember, you can for 0 you can leave without giving the units, because even if it is 10 kilometers, even if it is 1 centimeter, if it is 0, it's just 0. there's no 0 which is big in kilometer and centimeter. They are all the same. So even if you don't give the units, and there's no problem. And then outline, I'm going to give it none. Outline is gonna be none. And then now I'm going to give it the position relative, and then now what, let me do this, let me save, and I guess you can see it is somehow awesome, but now let's take it further. So let me do this, let me go to my HTML, and then now here here let me do what, let me create an ID here. So first of all, let me create a div, but now I want to create an ID here. So let me say this, let me say what, let me do this, let me say ID, and then I'm going to give it the btn, and then let me save, and then let me go to the CSS. Now here I'm going to say what, I'm going to say hash, I'm going to say hash btn, and then open and close the curly brackets, curly braces or curly brackets, and then I'm going to say to give it top 0, top property, and also the left property 0, left property I'm going to give it 0, and then I'm going to say what, position, I'm going to say position to be absolute the same, position absolute absolute, and then I'm going to give it what, width of what, width of 110 pixels. Don't forget to add units, remember 0, don't give them units, because 0 is just the same, you know, there's no effect there. And also I'm going to give it a height of what, height of let me give it 100%, and also I'm going to give it the background, what, a background, and then I'm going to add the gradient, so linear gradient. I'm using the linear gradient, and then let it go to right, so to right is it the spelling, and then a comma, then I'm going to give it 2 color codes. So the first one, I let it be what, let me say red and blue, comma, blue. I shall just change it, does not match red and a blue. And also another property here, let me give it a border radius of, and so border radius, let me give it 30 pixels so that it may match with the button box. So border radius is, let me give it 30 pixels, and and then also the last property, let me give it transition. Remember this transition, we shall do it later when we shall be tackling the JavaScript, but now let me just add it, transition of what, 1 second, transition of 0.5 a second. Remember, for now it will not function, but let me just add it here. We shall say it further when we shall go to JavaScript. So let it refresh. And so guys, as you can see, we have a very beautiful button here. This is now for, you know, an active item, an active element. And so guys, you can see the active item has the background, what, a gradient. So now what I'm going to do, let me also add what, let me also add some icons down here. So let me do this. Go to your account, and then now just after what, just after this div, I'm going to create what, I'm going to add what, I'm going to add here what, I'm going to add the img. First of all, let me create a class. So the class is gonna be social icons. So this is the class. So let me create the images. So the first image is gonna be what? It's gonna be for Twitter, so img. Then let me say the folder is what? Images. So remember, you specify the folder, and then the / now to distinguish the image. So let me begin in the facebook.png. Remember, if you don't have, you can use the font and those are Google fonts, or you can just download the icon on the internet. But now let me duplicate this stuff, Shift Alt, and then the arrow key pointing downward to duplicate. Let me make three of them, and then here I'm going to change it to be perhaps Twitter, and then here I'm going to change and give it this Instagram, Instagram, yeah. And then first of all, let me save and see if it is appearing on the browser. Let me save. And so guys, you can see it is appearing on on your browser. They are available on the browser. So now I want to style it further. You can see it is very big, and also the arrangement is not that pleasing. So what I'm gonna do, let me go, the class is .social icons. So let me copy the class. Then now to my CSS, I'm going to do what? First of all, let me create some space. And so now the class is what? The class is social icons. And then open and close the curly brackets, and then perhaps you can give it what? You can give it and so you open and close the curly bracket, and then margin, I'm going to give it margin. I'm going to give it what? I'm going to give it 30 pixel again, 30 pixel. That is top and bottom, and then auto, that is left and right. And then also I'm going to align the items. So text align to be sender, sender. And then now here I want to use the same class, but now targeting the images. So dot social icon, but now we are targeting the images. So img, and the height property, I'm going to give it 45 pixel, 45 pixel, all right. And then I'm going to align it at the center. So text align, text align is gonna be where center. Then let me save, and then let me see the change on the browser. And so guys, you can see this somehow are pleasing. Yeah, this is pleasing for me. And so now, or let me reduce to 40. Let me reduce to at least 40 pixels, and then let me save. And then on the browser, I think this is also for me. Remember, this is just my preferences. You can style it the way you want. And then now so let's go to our HTML now. Just below, before this closing tag of the form, so let me go where here it is. Remember, you can use these lines, they just guide you to know where does this end. So here I'm going to create what? I'm going to create also another class now for form. So let me say what? Let me use the class to be input what? Input group, and then this is the class. And so now inside this class, I'm going to create what? And so now the main class there is the input group, and then I'm going to create also those inputs themselves. I begin with the what for login. So for login, I'm going to say what? I'm going to say input type is gonna be what? Text. Type is text, and then I'm going to give it a class. So class. So the class, I'm going to give it what? I'm going to say input field. Inputs input field. You can give any class input field. This is my class, and then what also I'm going to create a placeholder, and then I'm going to say what I'm going to give it maybe a user ID, or it's called what, let me just say user ID, or a username. Oh, let me use a username. Is it username? Username is, let me say username, and then let me make it be required so that nobody can skip it, unless nobody can log in unless they fill that form. So I'm going to add this required, and then what I'm going to do, let me do what, let me duplicate it, make it 2, and then I'm going to change it here, and then I'm going to say what, I'm going to give it password, this one for password. So the type is gonna be what, a password, and then here I'm going to change to what, I'm going to change to what, I'm going to change to be what, password. I'm going to do what, I'm going to create also another checkbox here. So let me do what, let me duplicate again, shift alt, and then here I'm going to change it to be checkbox here, and this password I'm going to give it at checkbox, and then the placeholder, actually the checkbox does not have the placeholder. Let me just clear this part. First of all, the class is just and then there's something I'm going to change. Let me just give it a class, different class. So the class is checkbox. So this is the class, and so now yeah, it's not really, it's not required. Let me remove this required. Also in this other end, I'm going to create a span. And then let me say remember password, and then I'm going to create also another what, I'm going to create another the button now, button for submit. So button I'm going to say here it is going to be a login, not login. The label is actual login. So the name is login, and then let me change the type, input type. So I'm going to say type is going to be what, submit. So the type is submit, and then let me create a class for it. So the class is submit. Let me give it submit hyphen btn. The submit hyphen btn, and then let me do it. Let me save, and then open the browser. And so guys, there you can see it's not that professional. We are going to save it further, so don't worry. So now let's go to our CSS now. First of all to our text editor, and then to the CSS now, and then here I'm going to say what, first of all let me begin with the input group. So dot input group. What I do, let me just copy the class name, copy, and then here, and then open and close the curly braces, and then let me say top. I'm going to give it top what, top property. I'm going to give it 180 pixel, and then I'm going to give it a position to be absolute, absolute, and then I'm going to give it the width of 200 and 280 to 80 pixel to 80 pixel. And also I'm going to give it the transition. Remember, this transition will have effects when we shall create the JavaScript there. So transition, I'm going to give it 0.5 seconds, 0.5 second. And also let's now go to the input field itself. So the input field, let me copy the class. Now to my CSS, I'm going to say out dot input field, then I open and close the curly braces, and then I'm going to give it a width of 100%. And then here I'm going to give it a padding of top and bottom. I'm going to give it a 10 pixel, and then left and right I'm going to give it to 0. And also I'm going to give it a margin of 5 pixel, that is top and bottom. And then left and right I'm going to give it 0. Sorry, I wrote a different property. I shall be margin. I'm going to give it what? I'm going to give it I said 5 pixel, that's top and bottom, and then 0 left and right. And also I'm going to give it a border left. I'm going to give it what? I'm going to give it 0. I'm going to give it 0. And then a border right, I'm going to give it what? 0 again. I'm going to give it 0. And then border top, I'm going to give it 0. And also the border bottom, I'm going border bottom, I'm going to give it out. Let me give it this one 1 pixel, then I'm going to give it solid, and then let me give it red, a color to be red, but we shall just change it to not be that pleasing. And then outline, I'm going to give it none. Outline is none. And also the last property here, transparent, actually background. I should begin with the background, then I'm going to make it transparent. I'm going to make it transparent. Also the other property is for submit. So let me copy the class name, submit classes. Sorry. So guys, there was an error here. So the class should be, I should write the class now, and then I say let me not say it should be now submit dot btn. This is the class. Let me copy, and then here to my CSS, first of all, yes, let me save. And then to my CSS, now I'm going to paste it there, and then let me open and close the curly brackets, and then I'm going to give it a width of 85%, and then I'm going to give it a padding top and bottom. Padding top and bottom, I'm going to give it 10 pixel, and then 10 pixel, and then left and right I'm going to give it 30 pixel. And then another property, I'm going to give it a cursor pointer. Remember, it's a button and a cursor pointer, and then I'm going to make it to display block display. Okay, sorry guys. Remember, you close this property, this declaration with what? With the semicolon, and then I'm going to say display to be what? Block. And then I'm going to give it the margin auto. I'm going to give it auto, and then the background color, background. Let me copy this property here. Let me just copy this. let me just copy that part, and then I'll paste it here and paste it here. So first of all, so once you have pasted there, let me add also another property, border. I'm going to give it a border of 0, border 0. That's both top and bottom, left and right. And then now the last property, let me give it what? Let me give it so let me give it outline. I'm going to give it none. I don't want the outline. And then also let me give it a border radius. I'm going to give it what? I'm going to give it, let me give it 30 pixel again. 30 pixel. And so now the last property, let me just style it also, that when you go there we just complete it. So now the last one was checkbox. So the class, I guess it was checkbox. Yeah, checkbox. Let me just copy. Remember, if you don't write the selector which matches the class name, it will not have effect on the browser. And so I'm going to give it a margin of what? A margin of let me give it a margin of 30 pixel, that is top. And then I'm going to give it a 10 pixel, and that is right. And then I'm going to give it a bottom to be, let me give it 30 pixel, 30 pixel. And then to the left, I'm going to give it 0 pixel. And then also for the span, remember span, it has no class. Where's the so the span does not have the class. So let me just say a span. So the span, just span, and then I'm going to say what? Let me give it a color. The color, let me give it this one, this color code. And then now I'm going to give it what? I'm going to font size, a font size. Let me give it what? Let me give it a 12 pixel. A 12 pixel. And then a bottom property, I'm going to give it bottom property. I'm going to give it what? Let me give it a 68 pixel. 68 pixel. Then a position absolute. Position to be absolute. And so guys, before we go to the browser, I can see there's an error here. So let me just check. It was a hyphen. It should be a hyphen here. About. So the class here should be this is a hyphen. So this is the class name. And then let me save, and also to my CSS, let me save. Let me do what? Let me save. And then once you've saved, go to the browser now. And let me go to the browser, and then refresh. And so guys, there you can see it is somehow pleasing. You can fill your name. You can fill your name like Nehemiah, and then a password. Let me give it any name, anything. And then when you click on remember password, and then login, and then it's gonna send. But now you can save your password, but I don't want to save it. It is just for demo. And so guys, I want to change this line is not pleasing to me. So let me change and make it perhaps white, or any other color, lighter color. So what I'm going to do, why was it bottom? Let me do what? Let me change the color to a lighter color. Let me make it even this one, and then I'll save. And then to my browser, let me see. Wow, but now it's not pleasing. Alright, let it remain the way it is. But now the color code here, I'm going to change the color code here. So let me just give it what? Give it perhaps even green, and then here I'm going to give it even what? I'm going to give it even lighter blue. So let me save, and then let me see. Yeah, I think guys, these are somehow pleasing. These are somehow awesome. And so now what we are going to do, let me just do what? Let me do this. Let me duplicate this part. Just copy this form, just copy this form this way, and then I'll duplicate it for sign up. And so now here you are going to do what? I'm going to change some things here. So like for this one, so we begin with the username, and then let me also add the email, shift alt and then this stuff. So let me change here the type to be email address, so email, and then here I'm going to change it to email address, email address email address, and then so here I'm going to say in this pan, I'm going to say let me say I agree with the terms and condition, terms and what and conditions. So when someone click on that checkbox, it does what? He agrees or she agrees with the terms and condition to your what? To your business or to whichever it is. So I agree with the terms and condition, and then now here I'm going to change it to be what? Here I'm going to change it to be register. Register. I'm going to change it to be register, and then let me save. And so guys, there you can see it overlaps each other. So I want to I want us to study it further. So what I'm going to do, go to your CSS, and then I create an ID here. So an ID is gonna be what? This one is login, and this one is login, and then let me create also another ID here. Create another ID, and then let me say register. First of all, ID, and then I'm going to say what? Register. So let me just copy this ID, and then to my CSS, let me copy, and then and save. And to my CSS now I'm going to add it here. So first of all, let me put some field there. And so now here I'm going to say what? Just create a hash, and then I paste the ID there, and then I'll do what? Open and close the curly brackets, and then I'm going to give it left property. Left I'm going to give it what? Left property I'm going to give it. Let me give it a left property to be 50 pixel, and then for the what? For the register. Let me copy the ID. Remember, if we don't write things that resembles each other, it will not have effect. So let me paste it there, and then open and close the curly braces, and then left I'm going to change it to be left property. I'm going to change it to what? Left property I'm going to, let me give it 450 pixel, and then let me save. And now back to our browser, and then guys, you can see it's now on your left, but now appearing on the same, on the same line, but now it is on your right. But now we want to create the click event, so that when you click on login, it brings the login here, the register, and then it brings the register form here, but the overflow we shall add to be hidden. And so now let's go to the what? Let's go to our HTML first of all, and then in this in this first one, I'm going to create also an ID here. So in this after this toggle btn, I'm going to create what? An ID. So just write okay, not an ID, an on click function, an on click event. So on click event, actually I'm going to create an on click event here, and then here I'm going to say login, and then what? Open and close the curly what? The bracket, the normal bracket, the parentheses, and then let me do what? Let me also create here the on click event, on click the on click event here, but now here I'm going to say register, and then I do what, create these two events here, on click events, and then let me do what, let me save. So guys, ensure that you've saved, and then let's go to the JavaScript. So let's go to the JavaScript. And then just at the end of this script tag, I'm going to create also another script tag again. I'm going to create a script here, and then let me say what. First of all, let me create some space there. And so guys, in this script tag, I'm going to create the variable here. So var, I'm going to use the var keyword, and then I'm going to say x, and then I'm going to equate it, give it assign into document dot get element by id, and then the id was login, right? The first id. Let me begin with the login. So let me just copy the login, and then now let me go to let me go to my JavaScript, and then I paste the ID here. Remember, the ID should resemble with what you're written up there. And then let me just do what, let me duplicate, Shift Alt, and then arrow key, and then this one is for, let me change here to be what, let me change it to be Y, and then here let me change it to be what, Z, and then here I'm going to say register. Let me hope the ID is register. I don't know, or what I do, because I doubt myself, let me just copy, and then let me do what, let me paste it there. Actually, it's register. It is already registered. And then for Z, that's good. That's the BTN. I guess the ID is BTN. And so guys, the ID here is BTN. Also another ID here we have, it is BTN. So just BTN, and then do what here, just paste it there. Just BTN, and then so now I want to create the function for them, for these variables. So just create a function, and then I'm going to say what, I'm going to begin with the register. I'm going to begin with the register. First of all, it was register, I guess. And then first of all, let me just, or what I do, let me just copy the event here. It was register. I know it's exact, but I want to make someone understand. Let me open and close the curly brackets, and then I say x. X, I'm going to give it what? I'm going to give it dot style, and then I'm going to give it dot left. Remember, it was left, and then I'm going to assign it to open and close the quotation mark, and then I'm going to give it a 50 pixel. I'm going to begin with let me give it negative 400 pixel, and negative 400 pixels. Oh, first of all, let me just duplicate this part, and then this one is Y, this is Y, and then this is what, this is Z, and then here I'm going to change the value to be 50. This is 50, and then here I'm going to change it to give it 110 positive value, 110 pixel, and then let me just copy this part, and then duplicate it, and then this one I'm going to change it to be login, right? You can I don't want to copy again. Let me just write login, and then I'm going to change the values here. So for login, I'm going to give it 50 pixel here, 50 pixel, and then here I'm going to give it 450 for I'm going to give it at 450, and then for Z I'm going to give it 0 pixel, and then a 0 pixel, and then let me save, and then I'll go to your browser. And so guys, you can see that when you click on login, it brings the login form. When you click on register, it brings out the login form. Register login form. So now guys, I want to hide this part here. I want to hide this part that is appearing on your left and right here. So to do that, to hide that, I'm going to use the overflow property. So to my CSS now, I'm going to the form box. Where is it? The form box here, and then I'm going to give it add a property to overflow. I'm going to give it hidden, and then I save. And guys, you can see now the overflow is now hidden. When you click again on it, it brings the register form, the login form, and vice versa. I guess it's somehow pleasing. And so guys, now that this registration form is complete, you can see it's now complete with the active login and registration form. Now I want us to create us another page. I want to create first of all the contact us page, and then I shall go to the products, and then we shall be finishing. So now let's go to our text editor, and then now we are now at the contacts page. So now I want to copy again the same header. And then the footer. So now before this carousel here, let me just copy this part. Let me copy this header, and then now what I'm going to do to the conductors, I'm going to paste it there. And also again I go to the index.html, and then to the footer. Let me copy the footer. To the footer, let me just copy this part, and then let me copy, and then I'll paste it to the conductors. But now I'm going to change some things here. So like these are what? These are, I don't need this part now. These are color. These are page for explore now. And then let me here say contact us now, or reach us now. Let me say contact us now, or contact us now. Then let me save, and then now let me go to my browser. And then now let me go to now to the contact us page. So when I click on it, guys, you can see we have the contact us. And so guys, now you can see this is the contact us page, but now we want to add other items like the Google map, and then the registration, the input fees down there. So now let's go to our text editor, and then first of all, let's begin with the contact us. Let's begin with the and so guys, let's begin with the the location details, addresses. So the comment, let me here change to forms. Let me say maps and addresses. Maps and address, and then here I'm going to create what .row, a class. So the class, let me give it what? Let me give it or let me just begin with the .row, and then first of all, let me begin with with the main class. Let me give it a maps address. Let me say address, and then let me do what? Let me create inside now the .row, and and then inside this .row I'm going to create out two columns. So let me say columns. You can give it any colors, column, columns, hyphen two columns, and then let me just duplicate it, and then in this first one, I'm going to say what I'm going to create my location address, type the H1, the H3, let me use H3 this time, and then let me say colors, colors 24 times 7, 24 times 7, 24 7, and then let me create also the p tag. Let me use the p tag, and then let me say what, let me say let me write a number here, like let me say the country code, beginning with the country code. So let me say plus, and then 25 47 07 96 79 28, and then let me just duplicate this part, shift alt and then arrow key pointing downward, and then here I'm going to change it to writers, and then I'm going to add my email. So my email is let me say admin at nametech.com, and also here I'm going to change to what? Here I'm going to change to what? Let me say what? Let me say main office. Now the location address, main office, and then I'm going to say what? I'm going to type in my post address, box, let me give it this one for Nairobi 30, this day for University of Nairobi 30, and then 179, I guess 179, I guess this is 179, then comma GPO comma, and then let me say Nairobi Kenya, and then again in this section, first of all let me say let me also add a map here, the Google map here. So let me go to this part, let me go to, you can see I have this form, but now I want to add some the form here. So let me go to the browser, and let me open another tab, and then let me say Google map, Google let me say maps.google, and then click use this first link, and then do what, and then type your location address, like let me say Loresho, this is Nairobi, Loresho, and then let me do what, click on the share, click on the share, and then now go to the embed a map, then you're going to copy this HTML, and then now you can do what, you can cross this page, this tab, and then now go to your text editor. Now here in this column 2, then you are going to paste what, that code here, you're going to paste the code here, and then it's now very ugly, and unless we style it. So let me save, and then do what, you can see guys, it is somehow awesome, but I want to style it further. So like let me do what, let me add some border radius here. So let me go to my CSS now, to my CSS now, and then I'm going to say what, just paste it there. We don't have a class there, so just type directly iframe, then I'm going to give it a border radius, border radius. I'm going to give it what, I'm going to give it border radius, I'm going to give it what, let me say 15 pixel, 15 pixel, and then go where, go to then I refresh. Guys, you can see how it has some border radius, it has a border radius. And then now let me style it further. First style this stuff here. So what I'm gonna do, let me say what, let me change the color and everything here. So let me go to my what, let me go to my these conductors. So let me copy now this apart, the p tag. Let me just copy the p tag, and then I'll change the color parts now to the CSS, and then the p tag, so I had styled it further previously. So now let me say p tag, and then I open and close the curly brackets, and then I'm going to give it a padding of let me give it even 20 pixel, and then the color I'm going to change and give it what, let me give it any color, like even brown, like brown here. Let me save, and then refresh. So guys, I can see, but now the color is not that professional, or let it just be the way it is. I guess that's awesome the way it is. And so now let's go to now, and then add a form here down here. So now to our text editor, now to the conduct HTML, and then now here let me say what, let me say let me create a comment here and say what, and say let me say what, let me say fill in form, let me say fill in form. Let me give it any comment, and then now we are going to begin by first creating this class. Let me create first of all the div dot let me say fill form. So this is the main class. So dot fill form, and then now I'm going to create also, now inside it I'm going to create now the form itself. So I'm going to write form. I'm going to write a form, and then say what, let me write form, and then I'm going to delete this stuff, because I'm not we're not handling the backend, we are just handling the front end part. So let me do this. Let me create first of all the label, and then I'm going to give it the label for f name, first name, and then give it the name now. Let me say first name, and then let's create now the input for it. So now the input is gonna be input is gonna be what, the type is text, actually it's text, and then let me create an ID for it. ID I'm going to give it let me say f name. So the ID is f name, and then the name itself. Now the name I'm going to give it what, first name, and then placeholder. Let me add a placeholder for it. So placeholder is gonna be what, first name. So what I'm going to do, let me just first of all let me make it required so that nobody can skip it. So let me say required, and then let me just copy this part, just copy, control plus what, or let me just click shift alt, and then duplicate it, and then now here I'm going to change it to L name, to the last name. Here I'm going to make it L name, and then here I'm going to change it to last name, and then what else? Here I'm going to change also to last name, but this part is not important. Then here I'm going to say let me say last name, let me say last name, last name, and then what else? Yeah, I guess that's good. And then I'm going also to create also another field, input field here for country. So now this label, let me say label, and let me say label, and let me create a label. Now the label for country, let me say country. I did the label for country. Let me do it. Country. Label for country. I'm not sure with the spelling, so let me repeat begin again. So let me say label for country. Let me say just say get this the spelling, label for country, and then let me say what? Let me say now the name for it. The label itself, let me say country, so that you can select your country. And then I'm going to add here the select option, the select and then options here. So now I'm going to use the select, and then the name is gonna be what? The name is gonna be country. And then now the ID is gonna be what again? The ID is country. I guess this is the spelling for country. I'm not sure. I guess that's the option. Now the option itself. Now let's begin now with the countries. So now we just write option, and then value. I'm going to give it. Let me say beginning with my country is Kenya. Now the name itself. Now the name I'm going to say what? Let me say Kenya. Let me say Kenya. And then now guys, let's duplicate this part. Make it even 4 items, even 5. And then let me say Uganda. And then here also. No, let me just use this what. Let me use a small letter in this part. Let me say Kenya. Then here Uganda. Here I'm going to say Australia. Here I'm going to say United States. USA. Let me say USA. Let me here say what? Japan. Let me say Japan. Here let me say use small letter. Let me use USA. There's a reason for that. And then here let me say Uganda now. Let me say Uganda. It is now Australia. Yeah, Australia. But now let me change to uppercase this first letter, and then here let me say USA. And then here let me now say what? Japan. And then what you do, just also let me also make another let me make another text area. Let me create a text area now. Let me just say text area, and then yeah, text area, I guess. And then here in the placeholder, let me give it what? Let me give it. Let me say what? Let me say enter your comments. And then what you do? Now I don't want to complicate you guys. Let me do this. Let me clear this part and make it simple for you to understand. Just write text area and then the closing tag here, and then let me save, and then go to your browser and then refresh. And so guys, you can see we need to style it further. You can see it's not that pleasing. So what we are going to do, let's go to our text editor and to our CSS and then style it further so that it may be that professional. So now let's go to the CSS now. First of all guys, let me do this. I had to create a comment here. Let me now see. So guys, let me say let me say contacts page. It's always wise to use the comments. The contacts page. And then now here in this first of all, let's begin with the input. So let me just write input, and then open and close what the square bracket, I guess. Then write type, just write a type, and then equal sign text, just equal sign, then text, and then let me do this. Let me first of all write a comma, and then let me say now the select. We are targeting now the select, the select, and then
open and close the curly brackets, and then let's begin with let's give it what let's give it 100% actual percent, and then padding I'm going to give it 12 pixel, that is top and bottom, and then 20 pixel, that is the 20 pixel that is left and right. And then I'm gonna say what I'm giving it a border of 1 pixel, and then I'm going to give it so the border style is solid, and then the color, let me use this one. Use this one, the lighter color, this one, lighter gray, and then let me give it a border radius. I'm giving it what? Let me give it 4 pixel. This 4 pixel, and then also let me create another. Let's tell also this other part here, input, then do what input. So the type is gonna be what? First of all, open and close these square brackets, and then we are targeting now the submit. So type equal sign, and then say what? Let me say submit. We are targeting now the submit, and then now open and close the curly braces, and then let's give it a width of 100%, and then let me give it a background color of what? Let me use this color code. You can give it any color, but let me use this one, 4CN F5 50, and then now let me do this. Let me give it a color now. The color itself, the color, let me give it to white, yeah, white. And then let me say what, another property, let me give it a padding top and bottom. I'm going to give it 14 pixel, and then 20 pixel, that is left and right, and then do what, and then another property here, let me give it margin. You saw it was just close to the edges, so let me change the margin to 8 pixel, that is top and bottom. So let me say 8 pixel, and then 0 pixel, that is left and right. And then now another property, let me say border, to give the border to be none. So border is gonna be none. I don't want the border. And then what else? Let me say now border radius for that button. Border radius, let me give it give it 40 or 30. Let me this time give it 30 pixel for the border radius, and then cursor pointer.
cursor pointer, and then now let's now target in now the submit when you have. Let me just copy this part. Let me just copy. But now when you have so when you have then I open and close the curly brackets, and then let me say let me give it this property. Let me change the background color. So background color, I'm going to give it this color code. You can give it any color there, but let me use this color code. I know the color already. Let me give it that color, and then let me say what. Let me also no, this property is just enough, but I can as well change the color. Like you can let me use another color. Let me give it even that color. But now let's also create another. Let us style everything so that when you go there, we just see where we need to correct it. So now let's target this part. So now let's target now the field form itself, the main form. It was field form. Alright, let me just copy the class. So the class was field form. Let me copy. Then to my CSS, let me do this. Let me say dot field form, and then do what, open and close the curly brackets, and then I'm going to give it a border radius. Now this is the main class. The border radius, I'm going to give it what, let me say 5 pixel, a 5 pixel, and then I'm going to give it a background color of light gray, or let me just type this color F2, and then you begin with the hash. These are hexadecimal values, so you begin with the hash, and then now let's do this. Let me add a padding of what, padding of 20 pixel, and then also let's style the text area. So it was the text area. Then open and close the curly brackets, and then let's give it a width of. Now let's give it a width of 100%, and then let me give it a height of 150 pixel. And don't forget to add units, and then padding of 12 pixel. That is top and the bottom, and then left and right, I'm going to give it 20 pixel. Sorry. And then I'm going to give it a border. Let me give it what, a border. I'm going to give it 2 pixel this time, 2 pixel, and then let me give it a solid. By the way, always use you can use dashed or whichever style you want, but for me I like using solid. And then I'm going to give it a light gray color again, and then let me do this. Let me create a border radius. So border radius, I'm going to give it what, let me say 4 pixel. And then background color, I'm going to say what, let me give it this color code, again light gray, F8. Yeah, let me give it that color code, and then resize to be none, resize none. So let me save, and then I'll go to your browser. And guys, you can see it somehow, pleasing. So like you can fill your name like Nehemiah, and then last name Wekesa, and then a country you can select, like I can select Australia, and then remember this is just a it wasn't a placeholder by the way. So what you do, you just delete, and then you can say type your comment now, like my name is Nehemiah. Oh, there's something that I forgot to add, guys, the submit button. So the submit button, so what I do, so guys, what I do, let me now do this. Let me say, oh, I didn't add the submit button, so let me go to my contacts, and then here after this comment, let me create a submit. So it's gonna be a button. Let me use a button, but now the type is gonna be what? Type is gonna be submit. Type is gonna be submit, and then what? The name now for that button now is gonna be submit. Submit. Oh, I styled it, yet I had not even written here. So let me go to my CSS, and then let me see what. So guys, what I do, let me use this property. Let me use let me use an input. Let me use an input, and then the type is gonna be what? Submit. The type is gonna be submit, and then the value I'm going to give it what? Submit. And then let me save. And then go to my browser, and then refresh. And so guys, I can see I have the submit button here. But now remember, this just front end. When you click on it, it will not function. At all. Oh, by the way, you can see I gave this first name and the last name required. So if you don't fill, it will do what? It will give you an error. So like I can fill, and then I select the country, and then type your comment here, and then you click on submit. So it not function because we haven't linked to them. We haven't linked to our server. So we don't have, we have not used the server side language. And so guys, now that this conductors page is now complete, let's create also what? Let's create a about us page. So let's go to our text editor, and then I'm going to do what? Now to the about us page, then to my HTML. So let me just copy this footer, and then paste it where? To the about. So let me paste it there, and then let me go to, and then I paste, copy again the header. Let me copy the header. Let me copy the header. And then let me copy, and then I do what? Paste it there, and then do what? Before in this other section, just here, and let me paste it there, and then now I'm going to change it to. I'm going to remove first of all this part, and then let me say here about us. Let me say get to know us more, or whichever you wish, or I can say just say about us. And then first of all, let me save and see if it is appearing on the browser. So let me do this, let me refresh, and then let me go to the about page. And I guess you can see the get to know us more, but now we need to add that other items here, down here. So now let's go to here, and then let me say now about us. about us. Okay, about us. This is just a comment about us. About us. Wow. About us. And then let me do this. Let me create first of all the main class. So the main class, and then let it be dot about. You can give it any class. And then here inside it, I'm going to say I'm going to create a h2. Let me create a h2, and then I'm going to say what. Let me say what name shop. What name shop is all about. It's all about. And then let me create also a p tag here. P tag, and then I'm going to write here Lauren, so that it will generate some text for me. And then first of all, let me save and see if it's appearing on the browser. So when you refresh, guys, when you refresh, you can see you have these text here. But now I need to add some padding for this I want to add some padding on this art, the name shop. These are actually the h2. The h2, I'm kind of confused, guys, but we are just winding up. So let me find where h2 is. So let me find where h2 is. So this h1. Let me find h2. It was in the products page. Products. H2. Okay, it seems now I can't find it easily. So what I'm going to do, let me now do what? Let me create another h2 here. So let me say h2, and then open and do it. Okay, for now let me do this. Let me create dot about, so that it may not affect the other header. So dot about, and then h2, and then I'm going to say what? I'm going to say text align. I'm going to make it centered, and then the color, I'm going to give it what? I'm going to give it this color code, and then I'm going to add some padding. So padding both top, bottom, right and left. I'm going to give it 20 pixel, and then also these are done for the p tag. I'm going to say dot about, and then now I'm targeting now the p tag. Let me make it at the center. So text align, I'm going to make it centered. So let me save, and then I refresh in the browser. And so guys, when this part is complete, let me also create also another. Let me copy that part for the filling form about us. So let me copy the contact page. These are part for contacts. So let me just copy this part to this end, and then let me just copy, and then perhaps let me paste it where? Let me paste it here, and let me paste it, and then save, and then let me go to the browser and see the changes. So let it refresh, and guys, you can see what we have this part. And then before this form, perhaps let me add a karazu here again, the karazu here. So let me do what? Let me copy the HTML part for karazu. So let me copy the karazu parts. Where was it? Let me just copy this section and do what? And then copy. Let me just copy and then paste it to where? Let me copy and paste it at this section. Let me copy and paste it here. So let me paste it here, and then let me save, and then I'll go to your browser in such a way that you have only just a karazu, and then you have these other stuffs. And so guys, I can see we have this section that is very beautiful, about us page. And so guys, now that this section is complete, this about us page is now complete. Let's create also the products page. Now you can see it is blank like this. It is blank. So we want to add other items here. So let me go to my text editor, and then to this product page selected, let me copy first of all the HTML. Now let me just copy this part. Copy the header, and then I paste it there, and then again let's copy the footer. The footer, where is it? Footer. So this section, let me copy the footer, and then I do what? Copy, just copy, and then I paste it here. I paste it here, and then now I'm going to do what? I'm going to style it further. So let me first of all remove this part for explore now, and then let me now say here, let me say what? Let me change it. Let me say our awesome products, and then let me save, and then see if there's a change in the browser. So when you refresh, you can see you have these our awesome products, but now it is linked to the footer. It is attached to the footer. We need to add some items here. So now what I'm gonna do, let me do this. Let me go to my HTML, and then copy this part for products. This part for products. So where is it? Featured products. So let me copy this section, and then to where? And so guys, once you paste it there, and then everything is okay, just save. And then I also add an item here that add to cart. Just this item here after these headphones, just at the end of this price, I'm going to say add to cart. So first of all, let me create a div here, and then let me create also an anchor tag, and then I'm going to say, first of all, give it a hash, and then I'm going to say what? Add to cart. Add to cart. And then let me do this. Let me copy this section. Let me copy this part, copy, and then paste it in this second item here. Paste it there. Also paste it here. Paste it there, and then now also here, paste it there. Again to these other items, just paste it there. I just paste it there. Again here, just paste it there, and then where? Also here, just paste it there. Paste it there again. To this other item, just paste it there, and then do what? Also this section, just paste it there, and then this last one also paste it there. And then what I'm gonna do now, let me go to my CSS now. To my CSS, remember the main class is the container. Okay, it's columns. So now let's go to the CSS, and then in the CSS now I'm going to say what? I'm going to say dot columns. It was columns, and then oh sorry, it was dot columns, and then I'm going to say what? Now I'm targeting now the anchor tag, I guess, anchor tag, and then I'm going to say what? I'm going to say first of all this text decoration. Let's move the text decoration. Text decoration to be none. Text decoration to be none, and then I'm going to give it the color. Let's give it white. Color white. Color, I'm going to give it white, and then the background color. I'm going to give it green. Can give it any color. Let me give it green. Let me give it green, and then so border radius, so border radius, I'm going to give it 30 pixel. Yeah, 30 pixels. What else? Let's now first of all, let me save, and then I'll refresh in the browser and see some changes. And so as you can see, you have these items here. They add to cart, but now let me do this. Let me add some padding, and also what they have effects. So now let me go to my text editor now, and then add the padding here. So padding, let me give it even 10 pixel, and then let me save, and then let me add when you have before that, let me add a cursor pointer here. Cursor pointer. And then when you have let it change to another color, like let it change to so background color. Say this property background color, let me give it what? Blue. Let me give it blue, and then let me save, and then see in the browser. And so as you can see, we have the add to cart here now, and then yeah. Also for the sneaker, I forgot to add this. Let me just do it. Let me go to my text editor also again, and then to my HTML products, and then let me do it. Let me copy this section, and then copy, and then to the sneaker, where was it? Where is this part for sneaker 1? Let me paste it there, and then let me save. And so as you can see now, and so as you can see now, this product page is now awesome. It's now pleasing. It has hover effects, but now let me change the transition. Let me make the transition. So let me do this. Let me say what? Let me add a transition here. Transition of what? 0.5 seconds. So let me save, and then do what? Let me do this. And so guys, when you refresh, you can see it has those effects there. They have effects. So guys, basically this is just a draft, guys. You are going to draft yours, and then make it professional. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I really appreciate very much. And guys, please support me by subscribing. And if you have any doubt, please let me know in the comment section. And again, if you want the source code for this video, let me just know in the comment section. I'll give you. So guys, I really appreciate you for your time, and I'll see you guys in the next video.